Just a few minutes left with our guest. The governor yesterday defended his proposals in terms of the education cuts. The poorest communities in the state are not going to feel them at all. Some communities will feel a little, and then the communities you represent, 28 in all, are going to see their funding cut completely. But he's saying those towns have the lowest mill rates in the state, relatively little state aid anyhow. For example, he points to Fairfield. Of the $3.5 million that you get for education, it's only 2% of the education budget. So what he's saying is no big deal.
Easy for him to say, no big deal. Fairfield is a very well-run town. Our state, or our community boards, from the Board of Selectmen to our Board of Finance and our RTM, work very, very hard to run our community efficiently. This is going to be a big impact. So easy for the governor to say, no big deal.
When you started to talk about this in the beginning of the program, you said it means more taxes. And in effect, since you don't want to make draconian cuts to your education budget,
so
you're going to have to make it up somehow.
So our first selectman, and good for him to say this, is it would not increase taxes, it would cut services. Because at the end of the day, you have two choices, right? If you have a hole in your budget, you're either going to fill it by not doing certain things, or you're going to raise taxes. And neither of those are good options. So to our discussion earlier that maybe this is the first shot out of the bow by the governor to get some conversations going, this won't be settled easily, and nor will it be taken well by the communities.
The governor's budget chief, Ben Barnes, wrote an email a few years ago, and it's now part of a record in a case. This is in 2012 when they were considering cuts, and he said, "Must we really send millions to Greenwich and New Canaan? I am untroubled by the losers and believe that we should not undertake heroic efforts for that group. That said, the decision to hold harmless is ultimately a tactical political one." How do you feel when you hear that?
It's a horrible thing to say, and Secretary Barnes has been quoted as saying lots of different things, right? When he's targeting the hospitals. Why is he doing that? That's where the money is. It's a very bad approach, I think, to managing our state, and to target, as Representative Steinberg said, Fairfield County, which is the economic engine to the state. The amount of funds that come from Fairfield County that fund our government far exceeds any other part of the state, and we do get so little back in return. And these education cuts also seem, quite arbitrary on another hand. So the ECS, funding formula is pretty complex. And to say that, towns are underfunded, overfunded, and that's how we're making the cuts, when you look at it, that really isn't the case at all. So it's another hit to Fairfield County that we see too often out of Hartford, and it's not right.
So this will not stand. More importantly, it suggests we do not have a partner with the governor as we try to resolve the budget crisis. And I'd like to see us, on a bipartisan basis, come up with a budget that we feel is right for the state of Connecticut, with cuts, with a lot of hurt there that we would like to avoid, but we can't. But we're going to come up with our budget, and then it's up to the governor as to whether or not he vetoes it, and whether or not we have to come back and push the agenda.
Well, I will urge you to come back and explain the process to us as it goes forward. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us. Stay tuned. The news continues.